Who'd like to start it out?
Mike, I just want to follow up on Robert's knee. Everything seemed fine yesterday, but any MRI or any follow-up, any change from what we knew yesterday?
No, talking to Chris this morning. Feel right, just like I said after the game. Knee's fine. A little bit sore right now. That's about it.
Mike, as far as the passing offense goes so far this season, last year in yards per play, you guys were first, you're 18th. Interception rate, you were third, you're 26th. A couple of the statistical categories, there have been some major regressions. Can you put your thumb on what's not clicking for you guys to just throw the ball effectively?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. You take a look at sometimes it may be a quarterback's read. Other time it may be protection. Next time it might be a drop ball. Offense just maybe a little bit different than it was a year ago. Combination of all those things.
It's never one player, obviously. We talk about that a lot. But do you feel as though still at this point in the season you guys could be hindered by a lack of Robert's off-season working with those guys and just his ability to progress technically, or is that not something that you think's in play?
Well, everything's a growing experience. The more reps you get, the better off you do get. And we all understand that. But you asked me specifically if there's one area, and I can't say just one. I said it's a combination of a lot of different things. Sometimes you might see a guy wide open, and it may be a misread, or it may be a drop ball indication, or it may be a missed assignment. It may be somebody getting beat. So it's a combination of all those things that keeps the passing game going.
How is Robert doing on his anticipation? It looked like there was a couple times where he held the ball a little while, couldn't find anybody, and then maybe there's a split opening. Is it just?
Well, that's what I just finished saying. It's a combination of all those things. Sometimes it may be a misread, it may be missed timing, it may be a missed block, but it takes all those things to make things go. And when that's not going, it could be one player for one play, another player for another play. I think coming off of that third quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, I think everybody saw the opportunity off the play action for maybe an opportunity for Josh to catch that ball or Aldrich to keep drives going. And those are plays that, you're going to try to make, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Mike, just to be clear on Robert's knee, you don't expect him to miss any practice time this week?
No, according to the doctors, it's a little bit sore right now. He's going to have a little bit more rehab this week, which is typical of a quarterback or any other player having something hurt. But they feel he's fine and he'll be ready to go on Wednesday.
Mike, when you guys are kind of struggling to find a rhythm in the passing game, is there anything you can do to kind of establish that rhythm, find that rhythm, maybe simplify things, roll Robert out a little bit more? Anything that jumps to mind?
That's what you try to do going into the game. But same thing I've been saying. It's all those things. Which one is it? But the key to a great offense is make sure you eliminate mistakes, and everybody's got to be in tune to, be a top offense in the National Football League. And if you're missing one or the other areas, it costs you sometimes dearly.
Brandon Merriweather told us this morning he's worried that the emphasis on helmet-to-helmet hits is going to lead to more knee injuries as guys go low. He feels like he has to go low at this point. Is that a legitimate concern right now?
Well, I think, it's a concern in the National Football League. You can't go helmet to helmet. Brandon knows that he's got to go lower or he's not going to be playing in the National Football League. And, you got to hit in that waist area. You can't go too low because you're going to get fined there too. So, it's above the knee and it's lower than the chin, somewhere in that chest area. And you're going to have to step up because you can't penalize your team and you can't penalize yourself.
Along those lines, he was pretty harsh on what he said. I'm just curious if you worry that the league may now look at him even harsher. On the knees, he basically said that I just got to take people's knees out. That's the only way. I would hate to end a guy's career over a rule, but I guess it's better than other people, better than me getting suspended for longer. Do you worry that his comments like that may come back to bite him a little bit?
Well, I'm not sure if I would have used those choice of words. I think you'd use different words, obviously. But what happens with DBs a lot of times when you're a running back's coming at you, do you hit them low or do you hit them high? Well, most of those DBs, especially corners, they go low. And they have to go low because they can't take people head on. Safeties are a little bit different. They will take people head on. Now, those safeties have to go lower. And, it's just part of the game. Nobody's going to try to hurt anybody. But if you're going to err on the side of caution, you'd rather go low than you would high.
Mike, do you look back at yesterday's game as more frustrating or more encouraging for this season going forward? That kind of now that you've had a little time to think about it.
Well, I think what you do is after a game like that, you take a look at your defense. How did they play? Offense, how do they play? Special teams, how do they play? And there's always some encouragement. And there's always things that you need to work on. And as been mentioned here, pretty inconsistent on offense, especially in that fourth quarter. You have 7 drives and you've got 5 turnovers. You don't get much worse than that. So there's a lot of areas that you need to improve on. Anything else? Okay, thanks. Don't get upset. Don't get upset.
Just going to ask about some of the injuries yesterday. It didn't look like the non-Robert injuries were that serious, but Arakpo left for a little bit of time. A lot of guys came back in. Anything there with any of those guys at practice?
We got a few guys beat up, but I don't want to talk about any injuries until Wednesday because, they'll go through treatment and a little rehab and see on Wednesday if anybody's out.
I guess a long-term question maybe because you've got the Thursday game next week. Do you do anything this week to maybe get yourself ready in advance for that or anything to ease the planning going into that? No,
we don't, except from a coaching standpoint. You're going to work a little bit harder on Friday and Saturday in preparation, for that game. So a lot of times you don't work on another team in advance, but on a Thursday game, a number of times you do. Usually it's the day before when your game plan is already done for your upcoming opponent.
Special teams yesterday, outside of the one bad punt, you guys overall did a pretty good job. I assume you're happy with what you got out of that area?
Yeah, you saw some great effort. I thought we made some strides the week before, even though we had a big punt return by Hester. But going in this game, I thought Denver was one of the top teams in the National Football League, both in punt and kickoff return. I was, I liked our guys. I liked our energy. I liked their effort. And we'll keep on building on that.
What did Sav tell you about the shank punt?
You didn't have to tell me anything. I didn't ask him anything. I haven't seen him do that since he's been here, and it's quite unusual. I'm sure he's trying to directional kick a little bit, out of bounds, and just came off the side of his foot. Those things do happen.
Brian Arakpo didn't get any sacks, any hits on the quarterback, any tackles. Is that concerning to have a guy where you're counting on to be a playmaker not to have an impact like that? Well,
they chipped him a few times, and we understand. Payton gets rid of the football very quickly. I think we'll take 4 turnovers on defense and not worry about how many sacks Rack got, more so on how disruptive he was in the game. To get 4 turnovers on that football team is a little bit unusual, and proud of the ability for our defense to come up with those plays.
Mike, in the first 3 quarters, you guys are pretty run-heavy on first down, had some success doing it. First 4 drives of the fourth quarter, more, I think, was passing each time on first down. Did they start changing something there? What was, I guess, behind that?
Well, which series? The first series in the fourth quarter?
Well, I'm not even talking about just – I'm talking about first down, specifically the first 4 series when it was still, I guess, within 10 points.
Yeah, I think that's always a question. I think that one run we had, we ran the ball and went to 2nd and 14 after only play a loss of 4. But at the end of the day, you got to make plays. And we had really 9 drives in the second half, and 7 of those were 3 plays and out. That's what it averaged. And so if you can't get any type of sequence relative to passing or throwing, things aren't going to be good. But we got to be more effective than we were, and obviously we weren't that effective. Yeah, you never know. It switches each game. A lot has to do with our tendencies. Sometimes we'll try to offset those tendencies, depending on what we did the week before. Other times it'll just be a feel of what teams do on defense, on first down, what their game plans are, what coverages they're playing, how they're supporting the run, what coverages, the mismatches you feel that you have.
Mike, do you feel like you guys are getting closer to having that full 4-quarter game? It seems like, again, week in and week out, might do it for 2 quarters, might do it for 3, but not for all 4. Do you feel like they're getting ready to get where they have to be?
Well, that's what we're working for, to get that game. We've done it in spots. We haven't done a complete game, which is frustrating. That's what we're working for. But we have guys that'll work. We got guys that are showing up, giving us everything they've got, and when you look at film, you do see that. So we got to eliminate some of those mistakes, and hopefully we can put that together this weekend.
Mike, just based on some of the numbers, one of the things people on the outside will say is when Robert runs and runs effectively, your offense is way better, and generally the team's success spikes exponentially. Is it oversimplifying it to say right now, based on the offense that you've built, if he's not running the ball, you guys can't be an elite group? Is that a fair assessment?
You make that assessment. All I'm saying is that we're going to try to do everything to be the best we can be. So if we are deficient throwing the football, we got to get better. I just explained to you, sometimes it may be a read, it may be an overthrow, it may be a protection issue, it may be a drop ball, but everything that works together gives you a chance, and that's what we're working for in offense. Same thing we did a year ago. But that consistency is the key to winning football games, and we're not there yet. Okay?